Um, this is Jeff and Dom make a game. My name is Jeff.
My name is Dom. We're gonna make a game.
Yeah. Okay, this is session 3, episode 3. What is it? Sessions or episodes?
I've been using episodes. It's just fun to say.
Yeah. Um, I think there's sessions in our video titles, but we'll iron that out. For the third session, we are now deep in the midst of making Breakout, maybe known to some folks on watching as Arknoid, if they're old enough. And the idea is we have a game that doesn't apparently run anymore.
Oops.
Oh, did I? How did
Complete.
this? I didn't restart. Oh, I did restart VS Code. That's right, because we were talking about it, right? Well,
That's at least acceptable, as expected. If you restart it, it goes away.
So Breakout has a paddle along the bottom in green, a bouncing ball in the middle, and some bricks that you can destroy. And we got a lot of this working in our last episode. Before that, we just had literally a green square drawn in the middle of the screen. And now we have bouncing, we have collision, we have some weird stuff happening when the ball enters the side of the paddle like that. We don't have death, though. So the ball, supposedly when it falls to the bottom edge of the screen, is really supposed to end your game or reset your score or something like that. We don't have that implemented yet. So there are a number of things that we can kind of get into today. Checking the list that we made for last time. And Dom, I think I'll give you right of first refusal on what you would like us to tackle next.
Sounds good.
So first of all, it still feels like there are collisions where there shouldn't be, or maybe not collisions where there should be. There is a problem also related to collision where if we hit 2 bricks at once, it still bounces on the x-axis. And I think we had some idea that we wanted to maybe get rid of the edge in between 2 bricks for the purposes of collision. There's all kinds of code refactoring we can do, actually. Which is always fun to watch. There's also adding some English or spin to the ball so that the ball kind of absorbs some of the motion of the paddle if the paddle is moving at the same time. And then we can also implement death, that macabre but necessary phase of existence. So what will it be?
I have a hunch that death will actually be pretty fast and maybe uninteresting. I'd like to teach the bricks about their neighbors and pull it out into a separate class by doing that, because we'll have to give it some object-like qualities.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So let me try to draw out the problem that we're talking about right now. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to switch over to iPad view really quick.
Oh, I can hear your computer checking on that.
It's really chewing on it. Yeah. So,
unrelated to the stream.
It's funny. I actually had a note open before. So I think we were talking about really this situation.
Yeah.
This situation last time, right? So we had an issue where our ball, which is represented as a square here because its collision is a square, is traveling towards the bricks, and it hits 2 bricks at the same time. And the way our collision currently works is that if we detect any kind of overlap or new overlap on the x-axis, we will reverse the velocity of the ball along the x-axis. So the new velocity of the ball, and we do the same thing on the y-axis as well. So this is the before, and the after is that the ball should have a velocity that looks like this, right? And we think that that's bad in this case, right? what we'd really like to have happen is to treat these two bricks next to each other as if there was really no line between them, so that when the ball kind of intersects the two bricks at the same time, we really only get a collision along the y-axis.
Yep. Now, are we going to have the same issue in a sort of vertical situation too? If something hits here, would we expect it to, my drawing disappears, but we'd expect it to go this way instead of maybe bouncing back up, which I think it would do right now.
Right, so let me try to reproduce that for you. So we'd have some situation like this, right? And then the impact would be here.
Yeah. Currently, I think we would go this way.
What we really want is the y velocity to continue this way, but the x velocity to be reflected like this, right? But we think that it'll basically register a collision against this edge here, and then end up bouncing downwards.
Yes.
So I think that's actually correct. Yeah.
I think we've seen that in our stuff too, which is annoying.
Yeah. So why don't we review what our actual bounce code looks like? Yeah. I honestly actually haven't taken a look at this since the last time we talked about it. So
same.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was like a couple of days, really. So we iterate over every brick, right? And for each brick, we check for a collision on both the x-axis and the y-axis. And then we say, if we did collide on the x-axis anywhere against any of these bricks, right? Because this did x collide is being accumulated over the loop.
Yes.
Then we are going to do a reflection along the x-axis, and we'll do the same thing on the y-axis as well, right? And so the problem right now is that if we do a kind of brick by brick comparison like this, we are going to get in situations that we have kind of described over here, right? Either this situation over here or this situation right here.
So, all right. Actually, just thinking about this, let me throw out a extremely naive solution to this.
Yep.
We should only ever be able to handle two collisions at once for at least the bricks. Like there's no situation where we would ever hit a third brick with the same collider. Maybe perfectly a third if you have a corner of bricks and it goes into the corner.
Yeah, I think you could do three, right?
Yeah.
The situation you're describing is something along the lines of this, right? And
yeah.
You kind of like perfectly hit there.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be perfect because our collision algorithm really allows the ball to basically end up here. It embeds first and then reflects, right?
Right. So thinking of it as those three cases, there's no way we get four.
Sure.
I don't think yet. But we basically could just get the indexes of the bricks that were hit and just check the distance between indexes to figure out which situation we're in and what process we should take for like manipulating the axes. So that's a really dumb solution. I just want to throw it out there.
That is an interesting idea. We could easily spend the entire 2 hours talking about this particular problem. And if it comes to that, so be it, I would say. We want to get something that feels good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just as it's rolling around in my head thinking about like a brick needs to know about its horizontal neighbors and now its vertical neighbors for this case, and potentially like, I guess it's only in a cross shape, but I can imagine maybe someday it needs to know diagonal neighbors too, which like is a lot of reference passing to make a brick work versus just counting whether it's a diff of one or like one unit or a row unit. So.
Right. So you're saying that we can just enumerate the cases if there are multiple hits, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And perhaps a brick's function for knowing its sibling is actually asking the master bricks list for like brick +1 and brick -1. Like that's how that's what it finds out its siblings are.
Yeah, I mean, we could store the bricks in a two-dimensional array so that
Whoa.
if they know their own index, we can do a fast neighbor check.
Mm-hmm.
It probably wouldn't be that bad to just like iterate over the all of the bricks every single time and just say, "Are you my neighbor?" But because we're only dealing with at most it's probably fewer than like 100 of them even if we filled the whole screen with bricks, right?
Mm-hmm. We need to add an FPS counter to the top right corner so we can really see how performant our code is going.
Well, I was going to say we need to add a control backtick console to the game. Even though we have a JavaScript console, we should add like an actual console where we're like rendering the text and everything like that.
Oh, that'd be very
That's
fun.
a good use of our time.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what you're proposing is that given the relative sizes of the ball and the bricks and the speed at which the ball travels, we can only ever hit at most 3 bricks at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? The reason why speed matters is if we could have like this sort of tight matrix of bricks, and if the ball is going really fast, it could from one frame be here, and then in the second frame be here, and then hit
Right.
4 bricks at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. Which when we add English and something else that's modifying velocity, I feel like that's a worry I have, but we'll have to get there when we get there.
Yeah, totally. And maybe the idea is that just like we make it physically impossible in the game for this to ever happen, right? Mm-hmm. So if what you're saying is true, we will simplify our lives into some rotation or reflection of this case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a rotation or reflection because like these are technically 2 different things, right? So we'll either hit here or here or here or here, mm-hmm. or in this wacky case, it is probably, if we hit here, we'll probably hit all 3 at the same time. Yes. Almost always, right? Mm-hmm. Can we prove to ourselves that if you are overlapping 2 of these, you automatically overlap the 3rd?
I can prove that by looking at. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think an added wrinkle to this is that we have written our algorithms so that we detect new edges that we overlap, right? Mm-hmm. So back to this case over here, I wish there was a way I could point without drawing, but this case over here, the way that we handle this is that, let's say the state that we're looking at is this one here. Oh, I just erased that. We weren't in frame 1, we were not intersecting anything, mm-hmm. but we were overlapping on the x-axis for this first brick A. And then the next frame we were here, mm-hmm. and what we've got is on brick A a y-axis collision, and on brick B both an x-axis and a y-axis collision.
Correct.
Right? And what I'm curious about is if this is truly happening. Oh, okay, yeah, because see, we have 2 hits here. Mm-hmm. And I thought, is it possible that we're reflecting twice and just continuing? But the way that we wrote the code,
we were having that problem until we changed it to this global, it's on once it's hit.
Yeah, we're basically just saying you can only invert your velocity of the ball. You can't invert the inverted velocity. You can only invert the original one. Right?
Yeah, because we ended up with the ball hitting 2 bricks and then continuing to go straight up, which looked like it was passing through instead of just getting reversed.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything we can do? Like, what's the actual logic that we want to do here? Do we say that if there is an x-axis collision, we check to see if there's either an x or y collision on any of the other bricks that neighbor B? That's a complicated one, right?
Yeah. Well, we need to know. Yeah, we need to know which. Oh well, right. Because if we check B first and we see X and Y, then we get a second collision that says just Y.
Yeah.
Would we just choose just Y?
Yeah.
Actually, I guess if we get two collisions, we need them both to be. If we get two collisions, we take the value that is true for both of them, because coming from the other direction, you get a x and an xy to reflect it that direction.
Yeah.
So in fact, maybe it's just we should track, instead of this global thing, we should track what axes it's hit on, and then when we have two results, we invert the one that's in both hits, and we have three. We reverse both axes every time because three is just a reverse.
Got it.
So
So
it's still a lot less neighbor checking than I wanted. So yeah.
So you're saying, well, what if we had a situation that was like, I know we have maybe the gap here is like less than a ball, so that if we go here, maybe the overlap becomes. What should happen in this case?
That's a good question. So it's already x on this one, and it's already x. So y is the thing that changes on this brick.
Yeah.
And this one gets an xy collision. So we would choose y is the only thing that's the same in both sets, and it would bounce this way.
Yes, that actually seems like okay.
But... Yeah. Here's a case. What about this?
Okay. Oh, interesting. Bunny is saying that I should still louder.
Turning up my volume. You'll just be shouting in my ear, but that's fine.
Sorry. Is there really no way I can turn off notifications on this iPad? It's a little bit irritating.
You don't have Do Not Disturb? Yeah, the little moon
this
icon.
One?
Yeah.
Okay. Wish me luck.
Huh.
Okay, so in this case, are you talking about maybe this collision here?
Yes. And so so interestingly, it's probably it would be a y. It's already in the y on this brick, so x changes, and then it's already x on this brick, so only y changes, and then it becomes an xy collision for both of them. And I guess the algorithm I'm proposing holds true. No, my algorithm would actually let the ball pass through and say no collision happened, which would suck.
So what was the algorithm again?
It's that you take for each brick that it hits, we track what the new axis is. So like for some of ours, it's suddenly it intersects with x and y, and some it intersects with just y. Right. So we take the it's the opposite of the union. The opposite of the union. The intersection.
Intersection.
Yeah. So y is the only intersection between those collisions, so we know that it bounces down. But this case is not quite that.
Like the intersection of brick collisions.
Yeah, y and xy as our axes that have changed.
So if you had x and y, the intersection would be y.
Correct.
And that works for this case here, and that works for this case here.
And
that would work for the stack case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep moving.
That's okay.
In this case here.
Yeah. And for the one where it's 3 collisions, I think it's a different algorithm where we just say reverse everything.
And if you hit 3 like this, we would just flip everything, because that's just the case that we know about.
Yeah, we know the ball just bounces back that way.
If it's this case here, we would get a y collision here and an x collision here, And
the intersection would be null.
yes.
Though, you know what? Weirdly, the intersection for this triple one would also be null. Because we'd have x, y, x, and y. Or maybe backwards, but...
Yeah, I think it would be... let's try and draw it out here. So the ball's here, and it hits here, right? And so it'd be a y collision here. It'd be an x and y collision here. And it'd be an x collision here, right?
Yeah, so maybe in the case where we have collisions and the intersection is null, we know that we reverse, because that applies to both of these two cases.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, if you take the intersection of either the 2 or 3 collision set, like which is just an array that has x or y in it, it would be empty for both of these cases, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if it's empty, we say we hit 2 things, we have no intersection, so reverse.
Right. Yes.
Is this more bonkers than normal game collisions are, or is this like the right level of bonkers?
I think it's correct if it works. The thing we'd have to think about is if we enumerated all of our cases, right? Because like we're applying like a very kind of heuristic, I would say non-analytical kind of way of looking at the problem. Like we're not proceeding from the geometry, just like reading the tea leaves a little bit, like what this and why look like.
Yep.
Which is not to say that it's wrong. I think it's just that like we need to prove to ourselves that like there's some underlying logic to it.
Yeah. Right? Do you have another approach in mind for how to attack this too? Like what would be the more geometry based one?
At the I would say at the very least, maybe at least like thinking about how we might proceed geometrically, even if it's not the way that we do it. We just try it, right? So the way that I would consider doing it is that okay. Let me enumerate the cases one more time. So we had sorry, it's got like the edge of my hand detection here. We had this, we had this, we had this, and I actually think that this our current algorithm handles organically. I would claim.
Yes.
And I would also claim that that is just an extension of this, or these two are related to each other, and our current algorithm would handle this case correctly as well.
Yep, correct.
But the thing that I would propose is that what we would do is we would track edges. So what we would say is that when we had an intersection like this, we'd use the same logic that we were using before, but what we'd do is we'd yield a list. Let's say this is brick A and brick B. We'd say there's collision on A dot east and A dot south. And we'd also just say that there's collision on B dot south, right? And then what we do is we take these and we iterate over every edge and we do neighbor checking here, right? So we say, does A have a neighbor to the east right now? And the answer is yes, it does, right?
Gotcha. So you basically just remove that edge from the set to be like...
Yeah, we'd say that this doesn't count, right? And then we'd say A dot south, does A have a neighbor to the south? The answer is no. Does B have a neighbor? See, I'm still getting notifications even though Do Not Disturb is on. Isn't that weird?
That's really annoying.
Yeah. So what this doesn't handle is this case over here. It's like the ball is this big and it's going this way, right? Well, I don't know. Like, what's the argument you would make here? If the ball was going perfectly straight and it was wider than the gap between the bricks,
I would call
it
these
would actually be
neighbors.
it would be already overlapping on the x-axis on each of these, so we wouldn't count that as a collision, right?
I
And
would
we'd
also,
only. Sorry, go ahead.
I would also say that in our in our universe of calling something a neighbor, I would say that if the gap is smaller than the ball, it is a neighbor.
The gap is smaller than the ball.
Like if I asked
That's a
what,
Yeah, because I think the thing that you're trying to forestall is where there's some kind of displacement on the x-axis as well, right?
correct. And I think if we're building levels that have like tiny gaps like that, uh, it would make sense to tell the game like, oh well,
Yeah.
you still have something to your right or to your left there, like that object exists, and yeah. And if it's bigger, I would say no. So we have a level design issue if we start making like patterns out of our bricks.
And then, well, I could imagine that this scheme kind of breaks down because there are maybe situations where you do want to, like, if they were slightly disjoint, like slightly offset from each other, and you had a ball going like this.
Ooh, that's tough. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think maybe one of the other things we need to think about is, are the bricks kind of aligned to a grid?
Mm-hmm.
Are they grid aligned? And if that's the case, then our neighbor checking algorithm would work relatively well. If it's not the case, then we need to rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to have a game where we can have kind of elaborate brick patterns like this, or bricks of different size, or isn't this impressive how rich this particular subject matter is, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, do we want to have something like that?
I would say, I mean, like maybe let's keep it to a grid for now. Especially if we want to like kind of like treat this as intro game and then like dig into a meteor richer game if we go with some of the other concepts we had. So like
yeah. Well, ironically, this is probably like if we end up doing like the tank simulation game, like Bolo or whatever, that's going to have actually almost no physics whatsoever, which is fantastic, actually.
It's true.
The physics are a pain in the butt, right? And we're learning that a little bit right now.
I'm sure it'll still have interesting collisions based on how we decide to make the map work, though. So
yeah,
and how movement happens. But yeah, no physics would be fine if we don't have to figure out what direction something came at it really fast.
Yeah. Okay, so what feels good to you out of all the solutions that we've kind of talked about? Like,
I agree with you that like the very simplistic like trying to enumerate the cases on this top sheet and just like give us some bull checks feels like it'll continue to bite us as we just find more stuff that's not there. I like the edge detection or the edge enumeration and then like elimination essentially.
Yep.
And it's interesting because I wonder if that would, well, we're always negating, but we could also maybe make some assumptions. It's like if we have north edges, like the y velocity should be positive or negative, taking it towards the top of the screen after this hit. Like we can maybe make some choices that aren't just negation if we know like the direction or the edge that it's hitting.
That's a really interesting observation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know if we're gonna want that, but it could be nice.
Yeah, but we've got that in our back pocket, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, this sounds good. I think what I'll do, well, this is definitely going to be more typing, right? Certainly the solution.
Yeah.
One question I would ask is, how do we know north, south, east, and west which side of a brick we hit?
Oh, Lordy. That's a great question.
I think that what it is we just have to split up. You know how we did that axis aligned bounding box collision, right? We have like a rect collision.
Yep.
Ball collision, is it? Where do we put that?
It's higher up.
This is this whole mess.
Oh, I thought I tossed it above this even. Yeah, because
maybe.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. We're getting into.
Sorry, I think I can. Your cursor gets sent through, and sometimes your screen is behind your cursor, which is a very strange problem.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So it's right here, and I think what it is that we just need to like be a little bit more sophisticated than just checking overlaps, right? We need to actually check like what edge we're talking about, and then the return here is going to be like a list of edges, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And I think even with the overlaps, we might be able to, if we have an X overlap, we know we can't overlap both the north and south face. Um, So in fact, we might be able to figure out which X or Y edge it's hitting based on ball direction or like just X coordinate and Y coordinate of like the intersection, like which side of the brick it's on.
Right. Okay, can I do enums in TypeScript? Is that possible?
Yes. Enums are great. I think it's just enum name, open the bracket.
And then do they take values or yes?
They can. They don't have to.
Would it be too weird if I did this? Would you you want the full words?
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Would you prefer the full words?
No, not for cardinal directions because those make sense as one letter.
Yes. And then it would be an array of directions. Is that how you notate that?
So wait, sorry, that was a tuple. Come on screen, catch up. You can do this. No, it would be direction with brackets, the brackets after it, because that's a tuple that returns one direction.
Brilliant.
Yep.
How's the refresh right now? Should I unhook my iPad?
Yeah, do it. Okay.
That improving?
It did, but like hard to tell if there's a red herring or
not. Sample size too small.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So having the ball rect here still seems useful, right? And then did we do previous? We did do previous collection. We did do previous here, right?
Yep.
So.
Well, maybe starting with our base case, this if not overlap X and not overlap Y is return empty, right?
Yeah.
And let's go from there.
Right. And this is probably totally broken now, right?
I bet so. Oh god, I hate that.
That's probably not even reloading at this point, right? That's probably what's going on here.
Oh yeah. Or it isn't. It isn't. It's not rebuilding, so it's just getting the old source.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And then if so, we have overlap on both axes right now. But we actually want to know. Well, we can tell basically. Maybe the velocity is the thing that will tell us, right? And we're only ever going to get potentially 2, right? It's going to be we can't have like more than 2, right?
Yeah.
So do we have the velocity of the ball here captured?
I think we've got. I think it's a global.
Is it Vx and Vy? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can just read that.
Okay. I'm going to rename this to. Is there not rename symbol? Fantastic. Yes. VS code.
Hell yeah.
Winner. How do I do this? Ball capital VX. Is that gross?
No. It's great.
Okay. You like it. Yeah. Dom likes it. Dom made me do it.
No, you'll never confuse that with ball capital X.
Yeah, it's very much true. So what we are saying is we still do care about previous overlaps, do we not? Or no, we're just using velocity to determine this entirely? No, we have to care about the previous velocity, right? Or the previous position. Because
Do we, or do we, if we do edge elimination, do we care if we get... Oh, wait, well, we need to know... We only want new edges, so we do need to know previous, yeah.
Yeah. So if prev, if not prev overlap X, then, okay, this is going to be super gross. If ball be X greater than 0, then that means we're traveling to the right, which means we hit the west edge, right? This is how we do this. Colon, direction dot. Direction dot.
Direction dot. Yeah. Colon is you're in Ruby land.
C++, I think.
Oh, jeez.
I could ternary this. Is that a little bit nicer, or yeah, this is fine. Oh, and I'm definitely in Go/Rust land there. Then, if we'll just copy this.
I kind of want to ternary it.
You want to ternary? Okay.
Yeah.
I concur, that is better.
Yeah, because there's no case where we don't push an edge.
That is, if the Vy is greater than 0, it means it's going downwards, which means we do collide with the top, otherwise collide with the bottom, right? Edges.
Nice.
Okay, so this actually looks vaguely like we did something correct because it's not bouncing off the paddle anymore. Or we broke something.
I'm concerned that it works at all. That's weird.
You're concerned that it will, yeah, because it's breaking the bricks, right?
Yeah. It's well, we're returning something that is maybe truthy in a tuple, essentially. So it's it's interpreted in an interesting way.
Yeah. Okay. So where are we actually using ball collision? X hit, Y hit. So what we want to do is we want to see let edges. And yeah, so basically now we've broken the game, which is what we would have expected, right? Oh, and we need to know the edge of which ball, right?
Oh, sorry. This is for the paddle, though. Which
this is for the paddle. Yes. So if edges, how do I do a containment? Is it index of?
Oh, you do an array. No, do like open bracket direction dot north dot includes. Oh, you're trying to compare that to. Oh, sorry. If edges includes direction dot north, because if we want, that's what we want to check. Yeah.
There's an inclusion function. When did this? When did this? Has this always been in JavaScript?
It's been in arrays for a while, but like, man, I can't keep up with like what's in the browser and what is not at this point.
Okay, so that's what we wanted, right?
Yeah.
But we also want to bounce off the bottom of the paddle. Like we got rid of that, right?
Yeah. Can you? Well, give it a save again. I want to see if it still does the thing where it like wraps under the paddle when you do this.
Yeah, it doesn't, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with this for just the paddle, because if we let it die, we don't actually want it to bounce under there.
Yes, it technically would be impossible for that to happen if we had death, right? So maybe we're okay with this logic, right?
Yeah, it was a fun effect earlier, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
This is also nice too. This will let us, if we see edges that are like the side of the paddle, it'll maybe start to give us some good English indications.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so now we want to deal with this thing, right? And this is a bunch of edges. And what we're going to actually be accumulating is like this, and then
yeah, and that might be a map too, or a object for JavaScript, because we want to know key value, right?
correct. So we are going to do like you mean doing like a map like this?
No, sorry, I was saying collide edges should be a object where we put in like brick index colon ball collision response.
It'll be a vector of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or an array of those. That's why this is an array.
Okay,
we're gonna get an array of, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're gonna hit multiple bricks, right?
Yeah.
And okay, so this is like a number of things that has to happen here, because we need to be able to like name the bricks as well,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And what are bricks? They are just XY positions. Is that the case?
Mm-hmm. Right now, yeah.
Are the XY positions... Okay, so they are... So we're saying that there is some like theoretical grid of bricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that what we want is like a grid space coordinate for the brick, if we want to do neighbor detection the way that I was talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe before we dive too deeply into this collision that we're doing here, let's organize our bricks like that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is our dimensions of our screen? I think we have them somewhere, right? 600 by 600.
Yep.
And then
let's pick some numbers that actually fit on the screen, unlike the random ones I picked that leave a gap.
Okay, that's fine. So what if? Well, how big are the bricks right now?
80, which doesn't fit into 600 at all.
Yeah. So what if we picked 60?
Yep, love it.
Okay. Or brick width. Width divided by 10.
Sweet.
And then should they... Does 8 doesn't go into 60, does it? It should, right?
They're 30 right now, which does. Sorry, 8 doesn't go into 60?
Well, how big? So there's 60. So they're going to be 60. There's going to be 60 wide, and then what's a good number for the height?
Oh, I mean, they're currently 30. 20 would also divide cleanly that.
Okay.
20, 25. Oh,
let's just hard code these.
Yeah.
If they become non-integer multiples, then it's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then can I do this? Is this possible? Is this too much? Maybe we would just have interface brick.
Let's start there, yeah.
And then it has... I don't want to say X and Y, because X and Y is like our pixel space. What if I said I and J? Is that too confusing? Like the ith row and the jth column?
Oh,
that's like
okay.
matrix notation.
Yeah, I like that.
There's no such thing as int, right?
No, just number.
Number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing this right? Colons are going in the right place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's basically it, right? We can infer everything else from that. Maybe this is why class is useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how do we do constructor? Is it like this?
Okay. Yes. God, JavaScript classes I find the most baffling thing in the world.
Okay. And then is it possible for me to do this kind of thing, or does it?
No.
Does it allow me to? Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about there? It's just like automatically make this a private member variable kind of thing.
Cute.
Why am I getting squiggles here? Property J does not exist on... Okay, so do I need to declare this stuff?
Yeah, const I, const J.
So I can const these, and the constructor knows not to reset them?
You can set a const once. Maybe?
class member cannot. Okay, so let's just. I kind of want to make them public. I don't like.
Yeah.
So.
Wait,
and
Sam,
then
what is a public? You know what? You're writing different TypeScript than I know, and that's delightful.
Well, what else? How else would we notate class members? Right? It was complaining to me before about that.
No, you're right. I think I've been in React land far too long. I believe you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I guess React, you don't even declare any, like you basically don't declare member variables at all in your components, right? It's all properties.
This just works. Okay, great.
Okay, we don't need to have this at all.
I love it.
And the exposition is going to be I times brick height, or brick width. The Y position is going to be, sorry, this dot I. We're learning so much about JavaScript right now, right? And if we really wanted to get fancy, we could. Do we have a rect structure? What is our? We do have a rect structure.
We do.
I'm guessing I declare these out of order, right?
Should be fine.
And how do I do this? Return rect. Is it like this? Okay. X, Y, W, H, right? X.
So it's just you return. Yeah, you don't have to declare. There's no like wrapper constructor for that, but you just return the object that conforms to rect.
It's complaining. Rect is being used as a value here.
Oh, just delete the word rect. Yeah, you don't even need it.
Oh, okay. So it basically just infers. Perfect.
Yeah. We could cast it, or you could declare. Yeah, you could declare it with a type, but that return is totally correct.
Yeah. And then what else do we need to know about a brick?
We want to know, like, do we want to be able to tell its neighbors?
Yeah, we could. What we could do is something like neighbor, and it would take a double, like something like this.
Like the map of bricks, basically, yeah.
Yeah, the Playfield. It may be something where we want to have a Playfield class that can tell this. Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Okay. And then this would have bricks, and it's one of these guys, right? And then it would basically, we would take like rows number, calls number. And what this would do is we would just say for I equals 0, row I less than rows, I plus plus, right? Row equals this. For j equals 0, j less than, sorry, I is rows, j is calls, j plus plus. And we'd say bricks.push row. I need some lets in there, don't I? Sorry. Row.push new brick I j. Does that seem reasonable?
Yes. What is, sorry, bricks.push rows. What is this doing?
It is adding the row into the first level of brick here.
But it's rows, so it's the number?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I screwed up.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Into it.
Yes. Yeah, that's confusing. I'm sorry. The rows is like a number, and then row is a vector there.
No, looks good.
And then what will we do here? We would say of a particular brick, and the direction would be direction, and that would return. Can you do like an optional thing like that? Does that work? Can be null?
Yep. Yep.
And
all
is it
the
a prefix?
All the return types, the number of return types were also a little off. So I think something. Oh, it doesn't return brick yet is the problem.
Okay.
Question mark at the end, but it's going to give you an error until it returns something.
Okay. It is a question mark at the end. You're saying, like
yeah.
this. Brick.
Brick.
And then so what we would say is maybe it's useful to have this. Okay. And so now what we'd say is if, all right, so we need to do something like this. Switch D, case direction north. And what we would do here, if B dot I is 0, right, we return null.
Can we just grab into JavaScript arrays like
if we do like negative indices?
Yeah, does it throw a huge out of bound exceptions, or does it just return undefined like a good JavaScript object?
Let's see. X equals this.
X -1.
X -1.
And X1.
Well, let me try this. X equal. Let me actually put something in there. X, because sometimes it would give you the last thing if you use a negative in X.
Yeah, and do X2 or something.
Okay, we're getting undefined for all this.
So we can just increment in either direction and like trap undefined.
Okay, so you're saying that like let B equals this dot bricks, and then we need to figure out what to increment, right? So we still need the switch.
Yeah, the switch was still there. I just thought we didn't need like the base case of like checking the bounds of the board. Oh, cute.
Something like that.
Neat.
This is actually something where I might want to actually make this a method of the direction class, or the direction. I don't know if enums can have methods on them, but that would be pretty sweet, right?
That's very Switch. Swift, not Switch.
It's like very Rust. Also, like lots of modern languages will give you like they just like use enums for everything basically. Sorry, it's east. What's a little bit confusing is that our grid polarity is opposite of our pixel polarity. If that makes sense. Like if you go south, oh no wait, this is actually correct, right? If you go south, your pixels increase. And okay, so this is actually correct.
When we switch to OpenGL, it'll be wrong.
Yes. Enum direction used before its declaration. For real? Why is it complaining about that? Do you know?
I don't know. I thought TypeScript was supposed to compile that all out.
It should just know.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a lot of this stuff up here.
Right? Yeah, I like throwing all my types at the top anyway, if that's what's going on. So I think anything that's not TypeScript, let's jump up there.
Yeah, we're gradually...
Sorry, anything that is TypeScript, let's drop up there.
Yeah. Gradually, this is becoming a real program, right? And a lot of this stuff, which are kind of programming constants, are going to go up north, right?
Yep, I look forward to importing these from constants.ts.
Why is this complaining?
No return.
I'm just like in Ruby land.
Man, if TypeScript ever starts taking the last line as a return value, I will be so happy.
You know, CoffeeScript did that.
Did it really? Oh, but CoffeeScript was so unpleasant to write.
I really like CoffeeScript.
Really? Oh, it was just so floaty.
Yeah. It was floaty for sure. So what we do here is we do this dot bricks b dot I plus di b dot j plus dj. Let neighbor equal this if n equals underfined. Can you do that? Triple equals underfined?
Yep, you can always check that.
Oh, this is so gross. It is complaining. Bricks does not type of global this. Am I not in my class? It's just confused right now, right? It doesn't know what class I'm in. So I think that's a syntax error. So
No.
JS doc types. Am I just doing this wrong? Is everything automatically nullable? TypeScript.
It shouldn't be.
Tell me, Stack Overflow. Tell me.
Wait, keep going down. I think it's
got. Oh, you don't need to declare nullables. It just doesn't do null checking.
What?
Oh, pipe null. I would think I would want it to.
Yeah. Sorry, put the question mark back on there. What was the error it gave?
The syntax error. This one?
Is actually a syntax error?
Yeah. It's like, screw you, Dominic DeGrati.
Can you put parentheses around that?
Like so.
Yeah. Nope, still unhappy.
It's getting more and more confused.
Yeah, great. Interesting. Great. No, I'm into
union, okay. Like, so are you saying you're into this, or are you into like union null?
Pipe null, yeah, it seems great.
That seems like it has zero value add though, right? Because if like this doesn't complain about a possibility of doing null, then like what value does it have?
Can you just return n at this point? Does it care about undefined as well?
What if I did that? Yeah, what happens? Most programming languages do gradual typing like don't bother assuming they say that the type of expressions like this is the type of this thing, because I guess it's just too hard to treat every array access as like potentially null, because it like that would like kind of pollute all the types of all your functions that you receive, right?
Right.
Even though technically that's what you want, it would just be really hard to evolve in that direction, right? I really wish that this was meaningful, right? Because like programming languages that don't let you have null are amazing, right? Like they like, if they make you explicitly check for null, like so many states, like invalid states go out the window.
No, I'm honestly, I'm surprised the question mark didn't work.
Yes, out of defiance, I'm gonna just put this here.
Do it.
And see what happens. And then what do we have down below? I lost some code. I think we had this.
Yes.
God, this is gross. It almost seems like slightly more pleasant to me to do this. I don't know why.
Oh, because you're putting the good value first. I'm into it.
Yeah, and is there an Elvis operator? Can I do like foo?
The Elvis operator?
This kind of thing. Is that a?
Oh, I mean, I think just or null will, because undefined won't be true for you, so n or null is null.
Okay, this is my favorite thing.
Cool. Into it.
Sorry, that was super neurotic.
No, it's okay. I'm looking at. I'm trying to find the optional return type TypeScript docs, which surely do exist, but.
And you know what I even like better than all of this? I know this is a little bit stuttery, but. Sorry, this is what happens when you let me drive. I'm just gonna like friggin' psychotically.
Oh, this ends up with so many or nulls though. I don't like it. You repeat that logic like 4 times.
Is that
It is going to be a really clean looking function, though.
Bad. Embrace the dark side, Dom.
It's going to look nice. You're right about that.
Well, let's see what Prettier does with this first. Let's not speak too soon. +1. Actually, these zeros are not correct. B.J, right? J. J -1. J +1.
Is it because you broke the? It's because you broke the 80 character boundary with the or null, I think. Maybe.
Direction is too long. No, I actually think it just doesn't like. I'm pretty sure that it just doesn't like having this on the same line. It's just going to be a jerk.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I'm running with it. It's in the past. It's what we've got.
I'm into it.
Okay. Thank you, Don, for being such a good sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen much weirder.
Yeah. I mean, we are being pedantic about this. We could just get rid of these and just assume that if it's falsy. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I know.
No,
like we at least want it to be null, right?
I want to keep that because like it's gonna make us check.
I mean, ideally, what it would be is this, right? This would be killer, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a possibility. I'm shocked.
Can you do that? Is that a Swift thing? Options?
Oh yeah.
Options? Yeah, they're friggin' great, right?
They love it.
Yeah. That's not what I meant. What is it? What is an option? Is it a maybe type? Something like that? Implementing a maybe pattern using TypeScript, using a TypeScript type guard. I mean, okay, this just means it's not coming out of the box, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, those things are great, but you need to write the whole standard library using that kind of thing, or else it's just somebody just rolls their own thing. It's terrible.
You could write generic type nullable that takes nullable T, and you could put nullable brick. So yeah.
And it throws exceptions if you try to unwrap a null or something like that.
Well, no, it's just a type. So the type of nullable T is T or null, and you wrap everything you want to be nullable in that. It's a one-liner add to this if you really want to do it.
Got it. I'm okay with what we've got right now. Is that cool?
Yeah, we'll live.
Yeah, okay. We'll survive this horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to be super consistent. Okay, so what was the point of all of this stuff that we just did? Was to come back down here.
Mm-hmm.
So our playfield now has got to be set up over here. We got to recreate the playfield. Gosh, we've broken so much code, and now we have to.
Let's get our stuff drawn again. So right here, bricks is actually great. We just delete everything from 130 to 137.
Bricks equals new playfield.
Mm-hmm.
And how many did we have? We just had
10 across and
3 rows and 10 columns.
Mm-hmm. Boom. And the brick H and brick W values above that are garbage now.
Yeah. Render brick. Should we just take a brick?
Yep.
And then this could technically be a method. This could technically be a method on the brick class.
Oh yeah, pull it up there. Yeah.
Okay.
I like having the class actually do things. So.
Yeah. I also like the brick being pure data as well, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm tired of being a jerk. I've asserted my jerkiness too much on this stream already. We do need a context though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what the hell is this? Canvas 2D. Canvas running context. Lordy. Okay. Fill rect this dot x.
Mm-hmm.
This dot y. Brick width.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same thing but stroke rect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, back to where we were. We have these bricks. And where do we draw the bricks? We just totally crashed the program right now, right? That's what it looks like.
Boom.
Well, let's render the playfield. Let's add a render function to the whole playfield. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. See, this is good though.
We are.
We said we were going to do collision, but instead we did refactoring the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The code told us what to do.
This is wonderful. Yeah.
Is there 4 each? Or is it?
There's 4 each.
There's 4 each.
I don't know. I mean, I guess for a nested array, it's just this dot. It'd be bricks dot each would give you a row, and then you do row dot each.
Is it 4 each?
I guess so. Cool.
Okay.
B dot render needs the context object.
Sweet. Okay. Let's just get the rendering then.
Yeah.
It would be Playfield.
Dot render. Ooh.
I don't think I've instantiated Playfield yet, but it'll come. Or did I call it? We called it bricks, right? I think we should call it Playfield.
It's bricks, yeah. We'll call it bricks, then you can rename the symbol, and then it'll work.
Yeah. Oh. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then F2 Playfield. Did that do it?
I see a bunch of I saw playfield.for each.
Okay.
I hope it didn't rename the value bricks in the playfield class though.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Should this go in the playfield render as well, or
no?
Really, the playfield is misnamed. It's just the brick set, right?
Yeah.
We'll keep it. We'll call it the playfield for now.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playfield for each, and what we're doing is we're doing playfield bricks for each, and this is probably something we want to move into playfield class, but let's not bother right now.
Yeah. Do you want to just comment out the collision stuff real quick, and let's get the playfield rendering again so we can.
Okay.
I'd like to validate at least our render code.
You're saying basically, did we just do anything at all? So there's a lot of stuff here.
I just want to make sure it's not completely busted.
It's busted.
There we go. Wait, so that should be your in-class playfield. That should be bricks.
Is it this dot bricks? Okay. So what the hell happened right now? We could have a flaw like anywhere in this code right now. It's crazy.
I think there's still more collision stuff going on that we didn't comment out.
Is that what's causing it to crash? Is that this dot bricks is undefined? Does this do source maps? Do my eyes deceive? 53.
Boom. Oh, because it is undefined. We didn't instantiate it. Boom. Woo.
Oh my god.
All right. Oh, well, that's something. Our eyes and J's are backwards. Amazing. We pass in rows and columns.
Rows. I think it's our render that's off, right?
Yeah.
Or it's our brick instantiation. Or the way we're initializing the bricks is wrong. I is the ith
row.
X is this is flipped. This should be J.
Oh, great. There you go.
This should be I. That is majestic.
And then it should crash. Nope, it just kind of flips out when you hit it. Great. I love it.
That's friggin' fantastic. I want more. I want more bricks.
Yeah, we want more bricks now. Give us
This is like really friggin' unwieldy code right now. It's really tall. I want more. I want even more.
Do it. Yeah, that looks great. So should we? Well, I guess. Can we put those two things in other files at this point? They're pretty self-sufficient classes. They do have some dependencies.
We totally can.
Well, they have dependencies on the global width, height, brick height. You might need to pass it.
So what am I hearing from you? We need like a direction class. We need like some common utility class. I'm gonna keep it all in the same file for now. I feel like
I agree.
I totally know where you're going. We have a lot of refactoring going on here, right? And we don't even know if our collision logic will work.
I was gonna say let's finish that and then start pulling it out because that'll feel safer.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So close though. So close.
So freaking close. Okay. So what we were getting at here, we're saying that there's these collided edges that we're trying to populate. Mm-hmm. We're iterating over the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
The brick rect.
Oops. We need to iterate over the right now that's a row too. We need to go even deeper into.
Yeah. This is a row.
Mm-hmm.
Row dot for each brick.
Mm-hmm. And you could put the index in there, so you would get I and j as values in here if you wanted that. I guess we don't need it actually. Everything should handle
it. The brick has its own I and j.
I love it. No, I forgot that the brick does everything we need to know about neighbors. It's great.
And then the collided edges, or let's just call it collisions.
Mm-hmm. So then let edges equals ball collision brick dot AABB.
Brick dot AABB.
And that map didn't do anything yet.
The map, what is this is an edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we are really doing is we're returning that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it complaining?
Mm.
Do I need to add more curly braces? Do I need to do this?
Or less curly braces, yeah.
Well, I wanted to return like an object that was both a brick and its edge.
Oh yeah, you got to wrap it in parentheses to return it with the implicit curly brace.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, and then you can take out the return and the wrapping curly braces.
Holy smokes, that is beautiful.
So this is we're mapping a brick and an edge. We're gonna get multiple objects back from this essentially. So it's every
That's
edge.
what we want.
Yeah. Because we want to.
Because we don't have up to two things, right? That return from this.
Right, because if we get two, we want to eliminate each one independently.
And then collisions equals collisions dot concat. Cannot assign collisions because it's a constant.
Does collisions have do arrays have append?
They might. Could do like append is like join these two things together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't exist. I can only push. So maybe what I want to do here is rather than map, I'll do a for each.
Mm-hmm. I think you can.
And I'll just do collisions dot push, right?
I think you can push multiple. You could. How do you feel about triple dot syntax? You could push the splatted map.
No,
this is better. This is actually much clearer.
Yeah, I appreciate your promotion of ES6 syntax.
I just love splatting things.
Yeah, no, it's good. TypeScript is great. I'm really enjoying writing TypeScript.
It's okay. My difficulty is figuring out what was TypeScript and what was ES6 and like where the two impacted each other and where it's just like, oh, this is new JavaScript now. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that like, where's our import statements? Oh, we don't have any right now. But it was crazy to me that like import doesn't work in TypeScript, right? It's just like this fundamental thing that you just can't do. It's like, no, screw you.
Or in JavaScript, you mean? Yeah, there's nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least browser JavaScript, right?
No. Yeah.
Or actually browser. Who has import? Does anybody? Does Node have import?
Node might have it by default now. Yeah. If you turn on like ES6 mode.
Why is that? Why was that not the standard like 6 years ago? It's crazy.
It's really unclear.
Yeah. Okay. So I would just like to know if collisions.length greater than 0.
Mm-hmm.
Is this doing a damn thing right now?
Oh, it's about to print out a bunch of stuff. So yes.
So the answer is yes, Jeff. Your curiosity has been sated, and now you've opened Pandora's box.
Well, how about if you want to make it do a check there, if length is greater than 0, negate both axes, so it just bounces off this giant red wall, and we can start building out better checks in front of that.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
If
it's gonna be impossible if we ever get this like 6 array thing to deal with, so like I don't even want to see it happen. We will confuse it.
Ball VX.
Hmm.
Okay, that's what we expected.
Beautiful.
A kind of weird bounce on the wrong axes.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to iterate over the collisions. We want to filter. Is there such a thing?
Yes. Array.select. Nope, that filter. Great.
And it's a collision.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what it is one of these weirdos, right? It is a brick and an edge. Yes? Can we do that?
I do not know. It's
Yeah.
shocking. It's shockingly happy about that, except for the reassignment. But
you know what?
Just make it a let. Yeah, we're modifying it.
Yes, we are filtering it indeed. And then what we're going to say is if Playfield.neighbor of the brick along this edge, right? The edge is a direction.
Edge. Oh, edge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dot alive. We don't have this yet.
But we should.
Right.
We should.
Or what do we want to call this? Active? Or we could call it dead. The thing could be just dead or gone, or what do you think? Because dead would be like the default would be false, right?
We got to do a null check there.
Clear. Oh, I see what you're saying.
But I like. Oh, clear, like we've cleared it. I like dead.
Dead. Okay. Yeah. And where's our dead Boolean? This dot dead is false. Oops. It's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, we filter it if it's not dead, right? Oh, we got to do the null check. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. We have to assign it, and if null, do something.
Let neighbor equals this. If not neighbor, return keep it, right? Keep the edge. If not neighbor or neighbor dot dead. And then
yes.
We just return.
If not neighbor is really interesting because if it would be out of bounds of bricks. Which I guess if we rendered our bricks sort of in the center and the playfield only took up like this much space, then you could conceivably hit this edge within the...
It's not neighbor on the bottom row as well, right? It's like...
Right. Oh, you're totally right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So here we're getting out of bounds, so yeah, not neighbor.
And it's really this that we want to do. Because we were super anal retentive about our types. What's that? This dot bricks b plus... Oh, we can't do the thing that I was trying to do because this is not PHP. What's happening here is that we're trying to look into a row that doesn't exist, and we're dereferencing the array.
Oh. Yep. Okay.
Savage.
Well, maybe we need a bounce check. We tried so hard.
We tried really hard.
We got so far, but in the end, it really didn't matter.
Damn it.
Well, at least we can take our null checks out. We might as well just return null early if the delta is out of bounds.
So do I need to go back to DI? Is that what you're telling me? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What it is we want the neighbor's I, which is equal to the brick's I, and we want the neighbor's J, which is equal to the brick's J, plus some modifications, right? So if it's north, then I is equal to is minus equal to 1, right? Break. Is it plus equals 1? Break. Minus equal 1. I'm so glad you're with me on this tonight, Dom. I would just be pulling my hair out if I had to do this alone, but I've got you to talk to.
I mean, it's great because like I would kind of get annoyed at having to write this code by myself.
Right. But having to talk through it, it just seems like, oh, this is cool. We're solving problems, right?
Yeah, and normally I don't enjoy pair programming for work that much, but this is really fun.
Yeah. I is less than 0, or
don't listen to my job wherever you
this dot rows is less than or equal to I. Return null. We'll do the same with J. That's calls. Otherwise, return this dot bricks of I and J. Will it crash? Oh my god, it didn't crash.
Whew.
Did we just solve a problem? That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with how this function is, even though it's so much longer. That looks really great.
Little dopamine hit right there.
And we still need the null check because we do get null back when we're like
we do get null.
Extremely out of bounds, yeah.
Yeah. So we filtered this down to just the collisions that have no neighbors, right?
Yep. So do you want to log? Yeah.
Is there a way?
It did render. It printed. Oh, something.
You know what? If collisions dot length greater than 0. How do I clear this? Trash can?
Sure. Boom. Hey.
We got something.
Cool.
And this should be edge 1 and 1. That is fine, right? It can collide on multiple edges.
It can collide on multiple edges.
1 and 1 is south and south, right? But that was great because we didn't get east or west. Yeah. So that worked.
Right. That's a double hit, which is our collider is really big, is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, hell yeah.
Well, the double hit is something that we expected because if we hit anywhere near the border of two bricks, we're gonna.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm looking at I'm watching the animation. I'm just like, doesn't look like it's hitting 2 bricks, but it's like it's a pretty fat square.
Yeah. So here is what we can do now. This is perfect. We can make this const again. Order is restored. We did a filter, and we don't care about the brick anymore, do we?
Wait, isn't this where we want to mark the brick as dead, though? This is where we want to kill the brick.
Oh, we do care about the brick.
Yes.
Kill the brick. Brick. Edge.
Ooh.
And it's going to be a couple things. Right? I need parentheses. So, if we... let's switch on the edge, right? There is a collision in the direction of south or north, then we will did y collide equals did y collide or
true.
Did y collide equals true. right?
Right,
That's it.
right. It's just true now. Yeah, exactly.
Case direction dot. Let's do west first because that's negative, right? Case direction dot east. Did X collide? True. What's going on with my formatting here? Am I missing a curly brace somewhere?
Yeah, I'm trying to put some resolution back into this thing. It's so choppy.
Dude, missing this.
The def add arrow, yeah.
Yeah. And then brick dot dead is true. And then if we kill a brick, we need to stop rendering it, right? Oh god, what the hell happened? Well, we got a bug, but let's actually just stop the thing from rendering. If this dot dead, return, right? That is exactly the opposite of what we wanted to have happen, right?
Oh gosh, okay. Wow, that's just a delight.
Yeah, and we should not collide. Okay, so first of all, let's remove the collision, because I think we're still colliding. Ball collision. So we need to like say if
this is amazing though.
b dot dead return. Okay, that was. It just gets getting kind of like more arcanely cool over time.
Oh wait, this one isn't rendering for me, and I'm sad. It's.
Oh no, I'm sorry. What if I reload it? Does that help at all? Anything?
No, it's. Come on, you can do this, tuple. Wi-Fi, do it. No, I got nothing. Boo. Wait, unless the ball is stopped. Is the ball stopped?
No, I'm seeing some amazing like end of 2001 the movie shit right now. Like,
oh man,
so
that's really tragic.
It means it's not even streaming right now. That's so tragic.
It came back. It came back. Do it again. Give us fresh. Whoa. Okay, I'm into it.
It's a work of art, right?
Yeah, I'm getting a solid like 2 frames a second here, but I am super. Yeah.
You know what it is? We've got this whole thing right here. That is wrong.
Yep. Deleted.
So we just need to get our old code back. If did y collide all vy times equals -1. Yes. Are you seeing this?
No.
Oh man.
Oh god, wait. It just tore through there.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's like keeps getting worse in a fascinating way.
Oh, weird. Is it because are we marking balls dead in the process of colliding? Is that the problem? No, we've already calculated our collisions. Huh. I have so many questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the ordering here is right. So, okay, so let's just walk through it. You got some bricks, going row by row, and then column by column, right? And if the thing is already dead, it really should not be considered. So we're gonna early out there. Otherwise, we're gonna do a collision against the ball using the axis line bounding box of the brick, and that's gonna return a list of edges that the ball intersected with. That was not intersecting with before and is now intersecting with, right? And for each one of those edges, we're going to push it into a list of collisions where a collision is defined as essentially the tuple of a brick and an edge, right? Then for each one of those things, we are going to filter out the edge. We're going to filter out the entire collision if that brick's neighbor exists along that edge, because it should never have, like the ball couldn't have touched that edge along the, if the neighbor was there. And in this filter, do we have the opposite semantics here? Is filter supposed to be true and you keep it, or true and you remove it?
True and you keep it.
True and you keep it. So it's that it's not null.
Oh, and not dead.
And not dead. Still didn't fix it. Are you seeing this?
No.
Okay.
Are you like watching Are you watching some Netflix or something? Maybe that's it.
No, there's some Animal Crossing going on in the background here.
That seems unlikely. You know, I sold my turnips for 600 bells today. Tell Bunny.
Bunny says that Dom sold his turnips for 600 bells today. Is that an impressive number, or I don't know how to evaluate that.
Oh, I'm a multi-billionaire now.
Did you say billionaire?
I did.
Or billionaire? I wasn't even trying to make a pun there. I was just trying to figure out what you said, because I thought you were making a silly pun.
I was. No, I said the first one.
You said the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shame on you, Dom. Shame on you.
Oh man, now I can see it. This is bonkers. I love it.
It gets progressively more insane.
What the heck? Okay, so I have some thoughts. Should we slow down our ball speed and maybe give it a starting impulse of like straight up, so we can just like get a base case of like.
I also think I reversed the wrong semantics, right?
Yeah.
We should keep the brick if the neighbor either doesn't exist. So it was actually correct, or if the neighbor is dead, right? I think we had it like.
Yeah, true.
We made it worse.
That's true if we want to keep it. Yes. Yeah. Woo! That's wild.
So it looks like we're not colliding on the eastern edges. You notice that?
Not collide. Whoa.
Oh yeah. Or we're not colliding when the y direction is downwards on the horizontal axis.
That seems.
Yeah, you're saying change the velocity, make the ball go real slow, watch it happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like, and like straight up, and let's just make sure straight up works.
Okay. Okay, so no bounce happened there. Okay. But what we wanted to have happen was just a Y bounce. Do you see anything at all, or am I just like narrating and making sound effects for something that you have no idea what?
No, it's coming through now. It looks. It's weird. Is it? Well, hits the paddle. Is it actually slowing down as it passes through the bricks, or is that an illusion? That's a stream illusion.
I think it's. Well, let me.
Bonk.
I think it's an illusion.
Okay, delightful. So one thing we're getting is always 2 hits. So we should see a bunch of 2 arrays come out of this. It should only be did Y collide.
We should be reversing and it should be just going the other direction.
Yeah. Do you want to make sure that did Y collide?
So Okay, here's one thing that I've been worried about in the back of my mind that I haven't mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the transition from Act 1 to Act 2 of a horror movie. The guy in the back seat of the car kind of comes out with like, "Oh, actually, I took this thing from the museum."
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Is that we are not, when we do collision, we are not displacing the ball out of what it collided into. So
Mm-hmm.
the frame that it's colliding, we invert its y velocity, but it's still overlapping with the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, our collision thing should have detected this, but it's possible that we screwed up there somehow. Does that make sense? What I just said?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when you write these collision systems, what you will do is not only will you detect the collision and invert the velocity, we do that on the edges of the playfield because we clamp, right? We're actually pushing the ball
right. It should
from the walls.
Bounce off essentially.
Yes. That might be a next time thing, partly because we're 10 minutes away from what we need to be done.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can keep going for another 15 because like we started late, but it's also like you have to do like a linear interpolation, right? Because what you want is to like back the ball up along its path of motion.
Right, you take it backward until it's no longer inside the brick, essentially, right, and make that the clamp.
And you kind of have to do like a Bressenham kind of thing. I don't know if you've ever done like a pixel line drawing algorithm, but it's just you have to basically just like trace it along along a pixel path. It might not be that bad with floats though. With floats, you might just like do the linear interpolation kind of thing until it doesn't intersect anymore.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah, because we can do that, and JavaScript just renders it.
Sort of, although you don't know the size of things. So a lot of times the way those get implemented is that you run collision, you push it out a little bit, you run collision again, you push it out a little bit more, you run collision again.
Fair, I accept that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we validate that we're getting collisions and that it's not reversing? Should we print?
Well, we know we're getting collisions because we're killing the ball right here, right? 276 is definitely running. Or we're killing the brick rather.
Yeah.
And then
but it seems like our did X collide and did Y collide switch statements aren't running. Do you want to put a log in there maybe? I hate log-based debugging sometimes, but like.
Oh wait, we just have this in twice. What are we?
Hey.
Old code.
Professional developers is what we are. Hey, this is great.
That looks pretty good. Well, we don't know. The velocity is relatively simplistic right now. Shall I restore order in the universe here?
Yeah, put us back into weirder land. Oh,
okay, that looked good. That looked terrible. That should not have happened.
That one looked okay, though. Yeah.
Maybe? That shouldn't have bounced that way, right? That should have just reflected on the y-axis. That looked good. This is the closest we've been since we started the stream, when it was...
yeah.
So this is like kind of incrementally... This is like a sideways improvement from when we started, right? Because like certain things are working better. I don't know. This feels more solid in general than what we started with, but that shouldn't have happened, right? What the hell happened there?
Oh man, I can't. I saw a couple hits that looked pretty okay, but if it was doing a weirder hit than that, I missed it.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is that sometimes it is, it would do that kind of thing. That it just, the brick on the very right side, it's bouncing on the x-axis. It's reflecting on the x-axis when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like right there. Anytime it's going to kill one of these bricks on the edges, you'll see that. It's happening a lot right now, where that looked really cool. It's like missing...
It's getting a shocking number of corners, too.
Yeah. I'm seeing more X reflections than we should be getting.
Than expected, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that one shouldn't have... That shouldn't have.
No,
Well,
that one was a
that was
corner
a
hit.
corner. It was
So
a corner.
yeah, that was also a corner hit. Or maybe we're just seeing like
Our corner hits are actually really good.
yeah.
Because that didn't X reflect. That looked correct.
That looked correct.
Yeah, I think we might just have a bunch of corner hits.
Big corners. One
Huh.
way to do debugging like this, and like now we're getting into the kind of like the gnarly side of.
That was good. Oh, I think it's working. You think it's only on the edges, though?
Um, I I don't know what to think at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
What I think I'm seeing is we are striking the we're striking the like only on the y edge, only on the south edge, but I'm seeing an X reflection. Is what I think I'm seeing.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like it should be correct in any shape or form because we should have already had an X like that. That right there just happened. I don't know if you saw that.
No, that one I missed. I wonder if it's the fact that our collider is
Right
so.
there.
I wonder if it's that our collider is so big that we're in fact getting more corner reflections than looks correct, but that like if you're anywhere like this ball is like a rectangle that's like almost the whole height of the brick for one thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it more frequently intersects with the um, east and west edges than we think it should based on like visual perception, and if maybe we need to for next time make our collider be more of either a rectangle inside of the ball or do
Here's what
like a diamond shape. I feel like it needs to have a point even though balls don't have points.
Yeah. So here's what I would claim I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
is that the ball is hitting here
Mm-hmm.
and then bouncing this way.
Yeah, and I think that seems exactly right. When there's, and I guess when there's, you're seeing it more on the left and right edges because there's no neighbor over here. There's no neighbor over there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think actually what we wrote is good, and our collider maybe needs to be more this shape, or like we actually figure out sphere collision.
I don't know because we shouldn't count this edge as a collision if the ball was already within the bounds of the AABB previous frame. That's what our previous frame check is for. Is we're saying that.
Oh.
So I actually think we might have just have like a logic error somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot we did the previous check. Let's look at that real quick.
Yeah, let's take a quick look. I'm gonna move this over.
Cool. Just keep it tiny.
It's gonna just be super slow because I've got too many graphical buffers going on right now, and we've already reached the limit of what our 2020 technology can bring to us. So this is a hot mess. We kind of threw this together because we did a lot of extra stuff. I am wondering if we can try to break this down into its constituent parts a little bit more. Because what we're trying to say is, let's find the edge of the rectangle that we are newly overlapping, right? So maybe this much is correct. We do want to. We don't have any kind of collision if we're not overlapping on both axes, right?
Right.
Having the prevrect is fine. And then we did some kind of like voodoo here based on the velocity. But what I'm wondering is if we can maybe just use logic.
Yeah.
So like what we would say is like what's an overlap on
Well, if there was no pre overlap X, we're pushing east and west. If there's no pre-overlap while pushing. No, this makes sense.
Okay. So what if I did something like this? I'm adding more methods. We're object-oriented. We're just like fully embracing the world of. So this AABB. I can't remember. Like what I want to return is like kind of like this dot x, this dot y, this dot x plus brick width.
So the points, like these corner points?
Yeah, this dot y plus brick height. These all being functions.
Yep.
And this is a slightly different semantic than the AABB. And in fact, I'm not even sure, this might actually be the true AABB kind of representation. I'm not sure if I'm getting my terms right. I don't have a type here. Eventually, if we use like 3.js or whatever, these will be vectors, right? But do you have a couple, like 10, 15 minutes to kind of polish this off?
I got a little more time. Yeah, let's at least figure out sort of. It does seem like it's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Okay. So and then let's say the. Ah, shit. What I really want is the extrema of the previous position of the ball. So I think I might want to just. Oh no. I can get the extrema of the. Wait, we're colliding with a rect. Christ. Why did I just write that whole function? We don't need it. Prev-rect is the previous rectangle of the ball. Is that correct? And it's not the rectangle that we're colliding against. It's prev ball rect is what prev-rect is, right? So, okay, if we don't contain. Let me just kind of. Sorry, I'm getting confused by all the rects. And
well, can we maybe is this another place to actually construct a tiny example for the game state too, where we can throw like if we throw it at a corner, if we throw it at the left side of a block with a dead neighbor in the middle of the playfield, we should see it bounce incorrectly right now.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is we should probably have a test case, which I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's from our start position, I think if we mark one block as dead to start, we'll get the behavior we want.
We'll get the thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about, okay.
And mostly, I want to validate that we're chasing the right bug and that or is it just do it on the first one no matter what?
No, the first one looks good actually. Okay. So what I want to eliminate is maybe it's going to be the row index 9 and then 0, 1, 2, 3, either 4 or 5. I think it's 5 we want to get rid of.
Okay, do it.
Let me see.
Either would be fine. But I think 5.
I think 5, yeah. So it's 9, 5 that we want to kill. Where did I do new playfield? Okay. This is why you want everything to be public. No, that looked pretty good. That did not look good. So at least we can reproduce it within two or three bounces, right? That's. You see what I'm talking about?
It's catching up, not yet, but
this second brick that it kills. That looks bad.
No,
to me.
I unfortunately the broadcast is really behind. We should
Oh,
try having. We should see how you hosting next time goes.
uh, through OBS, you mean?
Yeah,
I would do the whole stream.
maybe
Okay.
this is the faster computer though. I'm not sure. I'm
Yeah,
confused as to why it's
I'm
so laggy.
I'm not sure either. Um,
But okay, at least we've got an earlier case to break it down with.
hmm Can you see anything yet?
Oh,
Is it just catching up?
I just did that time. Ah, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
It's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That second hit was the busted one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So we have a quasi repeatable thing here.
Hmm. Well, and so with this, can we start logging the edges that it thinks are hits?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and log our maybe our pre runs too. Like previously, is it possible
So
it was previously nothing and then got both of them true at the same time?
I'm gonna log all the collisions,
Yeah.
and this is enough information, right? Oh, I got to do the length thing again, or so I'm gonna kill myself. Okay, so it thought it intersected on the south side and the west side, which is exactly what we would expect this value to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't have intersected on the west side, right?
Yeah. So I wonder if the previous collision had it actually outside of if the previous ball position was outside both axes and it came in and in fact like is the ball moving too fast in like this direction? I guess is this a problem with our pre overlap? Like why not actually taking into account that like it was coming from a direction and maybe didn't completely overlap
Yeah,
beforehand?
it's weird because the logic here seems sound. If prev overlap x, if we weren't overlapping on the x-axis before, then push the west edge if the ball is moving to the right. Prev overlap. I mean, that logic looks pretty good.
I guess what I'm saying is what if in fact the previous overlap is correctly not on both because the ball is moving too fast?
Are you saying that it's hitting the? It doesn't seem possible, like just
But
based on what I'm seeing.
it's not that it's hitting the corner, but it is that the ball was outside of both axes in the previous position and inside both axes in the hit position.
Um,
And because of the way pre-overlap works, it's going to mark that as X and Y. Like it marks it as a corner check incorrectly. But it's be
yeah, I
so
see
so
what you're saying, although it doesn't look like that's what's happening. Is just my only objection, I would say. Um,
fair.
so let me go back to drawing mode real quick.
Mhm.
It's funny. I was like, I think we're getting ready to just like market this stream a little bit more, and we're just getting into like a light touch of what is a pain in the butt about game programming, right?
Mhm.
This is just like the sort of event horizon of the black hole.
Oh yeah.
Like we're not really even in the hard parts yet. And yet we're getting into something that I imagine the replay value of is like extremely low and tedious. But what I am seeing is a velocity. If let's say this is our 45-degree line, roughly,
Mhm.
I'm seeing a gentler slope than that. Okay.
Mhm.
Which
Yes.
means that the x absolute value, the x speed is higher than the y speed.
Mhm.
Does that
Which
make
is what our
sense?
constant is, yeah.
Um, so what you're saying is that our
Like,
ball is just like fully outside.
and like maybe barely outside.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like barely, barely, barely outside.
Yeah,
So
I'm saying that it's hitting like 90% there, and like it's getting 1 pixel.
like if it's just like on the line
Yeah,
and
and
then
and it
doing
is like
this.
it's like even 1 pixel of y-axis if it was just barely before will be a corner hit for us. So I think it's that we need to just reconceive the corner detection. But I can't validate this yet based on the logs. I'm not quite sure.
I think what you're saying makes sense. So
Yeah,
you're saying that our logic is correct.
it's working as intended.
Why didn't we see it yes or last time though? Is the question.
Mm,
What's changed?
weren't we getting? Didn't we started all this because our collisions were bouncing incorrectly in the first place?
But I think our theory at the time is because we were doing this. But maybe
Yeah,
we were wrong.
maybe. I
Maybe we
mean,
were wrong.
I think we ended up with a much stronger system and better bounces from this, but it's
Yeah.
still. I think we just need to figure out this like. I think it starts to turn into a vector basically.
So, different ways of dealing with that is we could do some kind of like this will require some research. We wouldn't want to
Mm-hmm.
research on screen, but we
Mm-hmm.
could do some kind of volume projection intersection.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be the most correct way of doing this. Because if you can imagine, if that volume
Yep.
intersects any piece of the west edge, we should get the bounce there.
Yeah, and would that be similar to sort of like, is there any way to do like weighting to be like, our, this collision is like 90% of the ball collider, and this is like 2%, and like we only caught a corner hit if it's like 50-50 or like 40% on each. I don't know if there's a solid algorithm for that.
There could be. Yeah, I think we're wading into territory where I'm just like my knowledge is a little bit more theoretical than it is practical.
Okay, well I think let's do
Um,
some research then, because I'll check out some. I guess these are like rect collider algorithms.
yeah. Um, the other thing we could do is is there a way we can distinguish between this type of overlap, this type of overlap, and this type of overlap?
Oh, you're kind of behind that's behind your video. Can you move the
Oh, I'm
iPad?
sorry.
That's okay.
Yes. We have three different overlap cases there, right?
Mm-hmm. And we've got these A and C really really locked down.
Yeah, I think what I'm proposing though is that what we're seeing is maybe something like this happening. I still can't convince myself this is the right thing, but like it's going from 1 to 2. And is there a way that we can say, well, if there's no kind of, if we haven't enclosed the corner,
Mm-hmm.
like if we haven't enclosed the edge, then you're not colliding with that edge.
Ah. Uh huh.
Because in the case B, you're enclosing both edges, you're colliding with it.
Right. Right. Right.
Now,
Right.
that's obviously not going to work if we have a ball that like moves perfectly into the like completely inside. We won't get any collisions at all. That's a tunneling case, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we could just say that like maybe let's just monkey with the velocities. That's never possible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't convince myself that's true though.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the. I'm intrigued by figuring out that it actually encloses the edge though versus this like the infinite boundary above and below.
Yeah.
Like that's an interesting idea. So I'll research some of this stuff. Let's see what we can come up with.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we
All right,
improved. I think we improved our collider dramatically, and our playfield and bricks look great. So
let's watch together one more time.
yeah, boom.
I don't know if you can see any of this at all.
It's working great this time. Oh, that collision.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
It does look better, right? Like there's something mystically feeling a little bit better about it.
I think we improved a lot of edge cases. If you commit
See,
this and
that
then
one bounce didn't make any sense at all. I feel like we've got a simple bug. Like I feel like the problem is maybe a little bit simpler than we're thinking it is.
quite
Um,
possibly.
yeah,
Uh, if it is, I'll be really happy. I can't shake the feeling that there's an extra axis being collided on incorrectly
yeah,
in our logic, not in a bug state.
yeah. But this
Well,
feels like a real breakout pattern, right? Like it's
mm-hmm.
tunneling holes into the wall that like very much feel breakouty, right? We're
Yep,
getting there.
yep, yeah, and yeah, I think everything is moving in a better way right now. So
Yeah.
we improved it. Good job.
Okay. So how far do we want to take breakout? Right. Like one question I have for you is like
Mm-hmm.
we want to make a game that is not breakout.
Yep.
We have some ideas. Um, I think it actually might be fun to do a stream where we talk about the game ideas that we do have and see if we can find at least videos to talk through. And
Okay.
God willing, the videos will show up on stream correctly, right? Um, but there's still a lot that breakout could be sort of an experimental playground for,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so there are things like particle effects, right? You can imagine that if we broke a brick, we could replace that with some kind of just like totally non-interactive, but just like animation or some kind of things blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Sound effects, camera shake. I've never seen breakout with camera shake, but I love camera shake. The
Mm.
idea behind camera shake is you just have this kind of like periodic, just literally move everything up by a couple pixels, move them down by a couple pixels, move them left by a couple pixels, and right back, and then just like follow that,
Yep.
you know. Um, and it's shocking how visceral that kind of thing makes things feel. So maybe Breakout will continue to be our kind of like experimental playground.
Yeah, maybe let's like make it a game, and then the next like if as we progress to main project, as we have like an idea to prototype, we prototype it in Breakout. Yeah, it might be
Yeah,
interesting. Test out
yeah,
algorithms, etc. On a simpler playfield.
right. Um, so maybe next stream Sunday 3 to 5, is it Sunday 3 to 5 p.m.
Sunday 3 to 5.
Pacific?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Will be
let's.
our last official breakout session,
I
and
think that
then
sounds
we'll.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
let's make winning and losing and maybe scoring
Yeah.
and fix the physics.
Yeah. Maybe Wednesday too, just because the amount of preparation that we'll be able to do from Sunday to Wednesday is going to be less than what we can do from a Wednesday to Sunday. Whatever, we'll play it by ear. If we're feeling good at the end of Sunday and we're like, okay, we're really fucking tired of breakout by this point,
Yeah.
We
For
can
what it's worth,
switch over.
I'm not. So
I'm totally look. If we're tired of breakout by now, we're never gonna make a game because like,
fair.
pretty soon this stream is gonna degenerate into like us spending 2 hours trying to write one function, right? And
I
that's
assume that's
just
what a lot of
programming,
these game
right?
streams are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I
just like
accept that.
that's programming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Programming is spending 2 hours making one function.
Mm-hmm.
Programmers spending a week writing one function, right?
Oh
So
god, I've done it. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
All right, man. As always, the highlight of my week.
Same. Excellent stream.
Yeah. Hope everybody's safe out there, and we'll catch you on Sunday.
Word. Yeah. See you Sunday.
All right. Take care, Dom.
All right. Stream off.